Hi, my name is Wendy. I'm Bree's mom, and I am going to show you a small part of Bree's first nutritional consultation with Misha Kuji. We went there 30 years ago because my daughter has a syndrome called Wolff-Rashad syndrome, or 4P-, which is the easiest way, which means there's a deletion on the arm of the number 4 chromosome. Bree at this time was 4.5. We were doing a stimulation program out of Philadelphia, and the seizures would always get in the way. Bree was, her prognosis was lucky to live to 5. Seizures that would take over her life, even with medication, never move, never respond. And so at this point in time, we were doing a stimulation program, but Bree was constantly getting pneumonia, being sick, the seizures. She was having at least 7 grand mals a year of 4 hours each, and lots of petit mals, hundreds a day. And so it was almost like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And on one of our visits to Philadelphia, one of the other families said they knew a family doing this diet called macrobiotics for the seizures. And I said, I want to get in touch with these people, and the journey started. So what I'm going to do is, this is 5 vegetable dishes. This is only half of what she was recommended, and the number of times per week that she was recommended to have them. So I'm going to continue talking and start the dishes, because some take 15 minutes. I've already started a dish in the back here called a nishime dish, which is a waterless root vegetable dish. And what I'll do is I'll show you how I set it up. With a little bit of water, maybe 1 inch or 2 in the bottom of a pot. And then what you're going to add to this is something called kombu. It's a well, you could call it a seaweed, but I call it a sea vegetable. And I've soaked it because it's dry. It will last forever. It comes dry like this. And whatever you put it in, it adds the nutrient value to the dish you add it to. So this is added to this. You just slice it through like this, and then dice it up and put it in the pot. It's also anti-cancerous, anti-diabetic. It's good for asthma. It's really good for the kidneys. It's good for high blood pressure. It counteracts it. And so you would add that to the bottom of the pot. And I've just soaked it here like that. Then what I did in that pot that's cooking is it'll take about 15 minutes to cook slowly. I added some winter squash. Now this is buttercup squash. I love it. It's the sweetest one. And to prepare this, you cut through the center like that. Okay, you just cut through the center until you have 2 halves. Then what you do is you take a big spoon, soup spoon, and take out the seeds, and then cut off the ends. And what I would want you to do is always cut away from yourself. Okay, always cut away from yourself like that. Take the skin off, okay? And then we have the squash. So then you just slice it through, make nice slices, and there we go. And that's part of this dish. So that'll be in one spot, just like that. And then along with this, I put parsnips, and I did a simple roll cut with the parsnips, which means you cut like this, roll it, cut like this, roll it, cut like this, okay? And then as you go up to the top, roll it, and that goes in. I'm putting that on the other side. I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. And gonna get thinner towards the top because all these vegetables cook at different rates, and I sort of know which ones take the longer. This'll, there we go. So we have parsnips, and then we also rutabaga. And I just cut the rutabaga in half, okay, right in half. Half isn't this way, it's this way. Do I have a full rutabaga to show you? No. But, and then I just slice through it. And then, like this, dice it up, because this one's a little bit longer to cook. So dice that up, and that goes in another section. And then, and then the last, I'm going to put 4 vegetables in this. Now this was a dish Bree was supposed to have at least twice a week. So this is daikon radish. It's a wonderful, it's milder than like a red radish like this. And it takes, and I'll do a roll cut with that too. And it can be bigger because it will cook, it cooks pretty quickly, I think. Now you could make this just with just 2 vegetables, 1 vegetable, but I like to get a nice variety in there because you get more nutrients. So, okay, so I'm not going to fill it up because I've got a whole pot cooking, but as you can see, the seed vegetable is on the bottom with an inch or so of water, and I've grouped. This is the rutabaga, this is the parsnips, this is the daikon, and this is the winter squash, buttercup squash. And I'll probably fill that right up normally, which this pot is that's cooking. And I bring it up to a boil, so there's a good steam working. Cover it, lower it, and then you keep an eye on it because you might have to add a little bit of water to the bottom. And then I'll season it with a wheat-free tamari at the end. Or tamari is wheat-free. Bree does, she's allergic to wheat, and a lot of our kids are allergic to dairy, wheat, corn, soy, and Bree has a few others, and they cause, I found out they trigger seizures. So now that one's cooking. The next one I'm doing the longer vegetables first. The next one is called a kinpira, and that is a mixture of burdock root and carrot. Now this is what burdock root looks like, and it's quite hard to dig out of the ground, but it's very strengthening. These are considered sort of for the lower part of the body, very strengthening. The round vegetables are for the middle part of the body, and then all these greens are for the lungs and upper area. So I've matchsticked them. Now what matchstick means, equal amounts, is you cut through the vegetable at an angle like this, cut through it, and then you cut matchsticks. Okay? And all of the vegetables have different energies, have different nutrients. They're all important. Bree is allergic to raw carrot, but so I won't put that in a salad. All right, so now what I'm going to put is a little bit of toasted sesame oil. Now, any of these macrobiotic products you can get. Go online to goldminenaturalfoods.com or Kushi store. Kushi is K-U-S-H-I. So I'll put a little, not too much. Let's say I've got a half a tablespoon there. And first we'll go in the burdock root. And if you could smell this, toasted sesame oil smells just wonderful. And I'll do this first, start this up. So Bree, exactly what the doctors prognosed was happening. The seizures were taking over her life. She was on medication. And I was just searching and searching and searching. So I found out about macrobiotics, and literally I went to a counselor, I found a counselor, went to a counselor, got a list of things, went to a health food store, bought a whole bunch of foods I'd never used in my life. And I started with a book until I finally went to Boston and went to a consultation with Misho. So, and I did say that this dish is also twice a week. So the nishime is twice a week, the kinpira twice a week. And I'll saute that up nicely. And then I will add the carrots. So we're going to do 5 dishes. We're also going to do steamed leafy greens. We're going to do a boiled salad, and then just a very basic raw salad. And there is a reason I am showing a raw salad, which I'll get into later. And then I'll add the carrot. And a little bit of sea salt. Sea salt all the time, please, for all the trace minerals. Plus their table salt. You can look it up, the difference between table salt and sea salt. And if you are watching TV, the one thing you do see is that the chefs are all using sea salt, and they all use a gas stove. I don't ever use this machine above the stove, but I'm in a rental, so it sits here. I'm talking about the microwave oven. There's controversies on microwaving food and not. So there's a bit of sea salt in that. I'm going to add a bit of water. And cover it. Turn it down, and there we go. What I also want to mention is this dish here, the root vegetable dish that I showed you how to make. I could also put it in this pot. This is a traditional nabe pot, a Japanese way of doing it. But I want to do it in pots that you would have at home now. The other thing that I didn't mention is please use stainless steel or cast iron. This cast iron pan I have had for at least 40 years. And so when you think about the price over 40 years, and it just gets more and more seasoned and better to use. So now we've got the 2 longer cooking vegetables started, and now what I'm going to do is turn off the stove. And I'm going to do the boiled salad, or finish the boiled salad, which is a combination of cauliflower and broccoli. Now, I didn't use the broccoli stems in this. I'll use that in a stir fry. But what you have to do is you have to take the hard skin off. And then I do the same thing. I cut it at an angle, and I matchstick, and I'll use it in a stir fry. So the boiled salad is broccoli and cauliflower. I've already prepared the cauliflower. And what you do is you have a pot of water, you bring it to a boil, and as soon as it comes to the boil, you put the vegetables in, 2 to 3 minutes tops. And then you take out those, you'll take out those vegetables, and you want to wait for the water to reboil again before putting in the next batch of vegetables. The other thing I do with I'm just checking the other thing I do is sometimes the combinations are different. I will do like maybe red cabbage and the white daikon matchsticked as a boiled salad. That's really nice. Or green cabbage and carrot matchstick. Radishes would be nice. Work with colors all the time. As you can see, there's a nice variety of colors here. Oh, the only thing I didn't put in my my root vegetable dish was I was going to put in purple top turnip, and this is also a turnip. This red one, it's just beautiful. So that's you could put purple top turnip in this dish bag here with the root vegetables. You could do radishes too. You could do carrots in there. There's just the variety is, especially nowadays, the variety is huge. Okay, this has come to the boil. So I have the broccoli ready. I'm going to put it in. And that'll be 2 to 3 minutes. Which I'm going to put on a timer so I don't forget. There we go. Nice. All right. So then I am going to start while that's cooking, preparing the steamed leafy greens, which you have every day. This is part of Bree's recommendations. These were every day. Now this is a collard, and this is curly kale. And I also have here, this is red char, and I have lacinato kale here. But today I'm just going to use these. Now, what you can do with the curly kale, because of the stem could be a little tougher, you just cut it out. You still use it, you're just cutting it out. And the same thing you can do with the collards. You could just go up here on a V and cut that out. Now, usually for myself and Bree, we don't mind it. We keep it in. And what you would do so it would cook faster is just cut it at an angle. And this would go in the water first. So then you would have that ready to go in. So I started doing macrobiotics, and Bree within 2 years stopped having her grand mal seizures. That did it for me. I was convinced. The thing was, during that 2-year process, I didn't recognize that she actually was getting better, because to me any seizure was bad. And but in retrospect, after the 2 years and they stopped, I saw that her recovery was faster. The next morning she'd be back to normal instead of being like a week before getting back. The duration was shorter. I mean, she was just getting better in increments. So, you know, for me, this was such a godsend, because Bree, the prognosis that the doctors had was, before macrobiotics, was becoming real. And the sicknesses, the pneumonias, I've ridden in ambulances with Bree in respiratory distress. I've slept in intensive care with her. I've paced hospital hallways. Whew. It's hard to talk about, but it was a very, very tough time. So now to have some tools to work with. Now the broccoli is ready. So see how bright green it is? That's what you want. You want that bright color. There, and you take it out and you let it drain right away so it'll cool off. And then off this comes. And any of these waters can be used in a soup stock, because there's nutrients in there. You don't want to cook anything too long, because the nutrients are all going to go into the water. These are these are all considered fast-cooking vegetables. So as this cools off, I will place it around here. So, you know, when you think about our human body, we are made up of somewhere around 50 trillion cells in our body. And the only way you can build a cell there are three things it takes to build a cell. The food you eat, nutrition, what you drink, and the air you breathe. That's it. So, for me, this puts some possibility in my hands of being able to help my daughter. Bree is definitely still, she takes full-time care, but she's alive, first thing. She's happy, she's healthy, she's at home with me, and she has everything. The funny thing I didn't realize at the beginning is that, you know, everything I'm doing for Bree would end up helping me too. I was just driven, how do I keep my daughter alive? I look back, I was just a very stressed out mom, scared to death, just scared to death. I was watching her constantly with the seizures, never knowing, they always seemed to come in the night and during nap time for us, and it was like, I was always scared. So there, that's a boiled salad. So that's one dish ready to go. So now with the steamed greens, they won't take a minute. I put those stems in. Okay. And then I'm just going to, you can use one green, 2 greens. I'm just going to take all these like this. Roll them up. We're doing kale and collard, so I rolled them up and then I just sliced through them. I did put the stems in first, and I will cover that. There we go. And we slice through all these greens. Now, you have steamed greens every day. That was that was Bree's, my daughter's recommendation for her syndrome. You know, and the bottom line is that this is good for anybody, any sick child for sure. You've got to have good nutrition, and but it's good for anybody. I eat this way, and I wouldn't have been surviving 35 years without having this foundation of good food. I just know it. I would probably have to be heavily medicated with all the side effects that come from that. So, you know, and with my daughter Bree, I had to, first of all, she was failing, so I turned to this, but also the side effects of the seizure medication long term have all kinds of things, and it's a huge stress on the liver to detox those chemicals. All right, so now this is coming, and I have a steamer basket, which I will show you in the water. Okay, there's water in the bottom, and the water comes up to the bottom of the steamer basket, and then in go the sliced leafy greens, collards and kale. There we go. Put a cover on it, and because I'm talking, I'm going to put a timer on it so I don't forget it. Now, the last thing I want to show you is a salad, and a raw salad. Raw salad was supposed to be 3 times a week, 3 to 5 times a week. This was every day. This was 4 to 5 times a week. Twice a week, sorry. Twice a week. Now, what we have in our salad is, what I want to explain to you is red and the dark green color. 1/2 of Americans have only ever purchased iceberg lettuce as their salad green. Iceberg lettuce has the least nutrients and the least phytonutrients. So what the phytonutrients do is they, first of all, fight against disease, and they help your body just work better. So you're looking for the dark green color and the red color. Those are where your nutrients are. And Americans generally in a week buy more iceberg lettuce than any other combined vegetables, fresh vegetables. So, but iceberg lettuce is the least nutrition. It has the least benefits because it's tightly packed like that, so the sun can't get to it really well. So what we're using, I'm trying to have a powerhouse of vegetables for her salad. Now, this salad is going to have 4 or 5 different things in it. I have started it. And what I do is you have to wash everything, and then then I dry everything out in a salad spinner. Well worth your while, okay? And it works beautifully, gets all the excess water off. It's just great, okay? And then, so what we have in this salad right now is romaine lettuce, red leaf lettuce. I have spinach, and I have a wonderful vegetable called arugula. It's a strong anti-cancer vegetable. Arugula, it has just a bit of a peppery taste, but nothing too strong. It's beautiful. So that's what's in here. Now, what I do is I have got some grated celery, and what that looks like is right here, and and you cut the rough skin off of it. Ah, my leafy greens are ready. Let's just do this, and I'll be right back. Take these out of the pot. Look at how nice and green these are. Isn't that beautiful? And what I'm going to do in the middle of doing the salad is I'm going to season these 2 dishes that I have cooking here, the nishime dish and the kinpira dish. So that is the steamed green dish. And what I'll do with a little bit of tamari, wheat-free, is season this dish a little bit. And season this dish a little bit. Alright, this is mutuku. And you can get this from the kushi store. Or you could just use some sea salt. So now back to the salad. So I've got this vegetable, which looks really rough. Smells just like celery. Cut it off, grate it. Cut all the rough off and grate it, and you have beautiful salad ingredient. And then I've grated some radish. And by the way, before you even start cooking, the first thing you do is wash your hands well. I forgot to mention that. So this radish, aren't these beautiful? And then you can just mix this up, and you've got a beautiful, beautiful salad with romaine lettuce, red lettuce, arugula, celery, and radish. 5 different vegetables right there just in your salad. And then what you can do is I'll be right back here. I'm just going to get some seeds. Sesame seeds. Now, any of these can have sesame seeds sprinkled on top. Sesame seeds are the food that has the most calcium in it in the world, okay? So sesame seeds are really important, and in another video I'll show how to dry roast seeds. So I always have a bottle of dry roasted sesame seeds in the fridge to sprinkle on foods. Alright, so that's our salad. You could dice up some avocado in here too, which is a healthy fat. So that's the salad. We've got 3 dishes here ready to go, and these are almost done and we'll be fine. So what I wanted to mention is our body, like I've mentioned before, has more or less 50 trillion cells. And it's sort of like we are a skin-covered culture dish, and the growth medium in that dish is our blood. And the only way to that blood is made healthy is through nutrition or through the brain. So I look at it as if my child has a deletion in the brain function, I really have to focus on the nutrition. And that's the only way, is nutrition is, I've learned, extremely, extremely important. And on finishing, I want you to realize that I still take everything I make for Bree and I have to grind it up for her. I have to puree it like baby food because that's the only way she can eat it. And I eat this way myself. I am so glad that I had to come to pay attention to nutrition to keep my daughter alive, healthy, and happy. I think I have remembered everything. So, boiled salad 4 or 5 times a week. Steamed greens every day. Salad 3 to 5 times a week. Nishime, which is now done. This is a beautiful root vegetable dish. And the kinpira is done too. And I will just put this on this plate. So you see there's a lot of colors, and that's where the more colors, the better. If you look at your plate, and I remember my brother saying to me, he was at a restaurant with a table full of friends, and he looked down the table, and every plate was white, beige, or brown. If your plate is white, beige, and brown only, you are lacking balance. That's just, you know that. You've got to have these colors mixed in, okay? You've got to have green. Green is a very important color in nutrition. And that was twice a week. This is twice a week. What I did to finish is, this is only the beginning. This is just 5 vegetable dishes. There's at least 5 more. But this is a starting place. There's grains, there's beans, there's sea vegetable, there's soup, there's condiments. And hopefully I'll be able to make a short video of each one. This was Bree's consultation from Michikushi over 30 years ago now. And this was our beginning point. And I took these, and when I walked away from that consultation, I literally wrote everything down on a weekly plan and put it on the fridge and lived from that plan. What do I cook next? I went and looked at it and I knew what I cooked next. And the one thing that I asked Mr. Kushi at the end of the consultation was, as her mom, because I knew to understand this I had to eat the same way, what can I do to be a better cook for my daughter? And he said, eat wide. And this is the sort of thing. Colorful wide is what he was talking about. All right, thank you very much. And Bree, hey girl, have I got enough food for you right now, sweetie? You gonna give Mama 5 on this one? Or no? You gonna give Mama 5? Am I doing okay? Yes, I'm doing okay. I love you, sweetie.